So if you guys don't know, IPA stands for income producing activity, and DMO stands for daily method of operation. So it's just another fancy way of saying what do we do every day. And so I want to spend the first bit asking some of our veterans what they do every day, the bones of it, not all the extra fluff. And having, in hopes that having everybody share what they actually do every day, maybe mirrored against some things that they have completely wasted their time, like some things that they don't do, because I believe that one of the best ways to get clear about what you do want is to be clear about what you don't want. And so often you can find a lot of clarity in knowing what you don't need to do, to be able to write down the things that you do need to do. And so that's what I'd like to start out doing today, tonight, is everybody just kind of talking about their income producing activity for the day. Because I have a feeling that the core 5 things are going to be the same. When it is your turn, whenever you are the one talking about what you do, please feel free to include a category of things you know you should be doing, but you're not, because that's okay too. Because my hope is at the end of this call, I'm going to be taking notes on all of this, and I have 7 things written down myself, but I'm going to take some notes during this call. And at the end of the call, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read back what we have come up with as the things that you should be doing every single day. So does anybody want to volunteer to go first? Any of our old timers? Huh?
I will.
Go for it.
Okay, so I feel like if you were going to pick one thing to do, and I could pretty much sum up making money in probably 2 things. If you are going to pick one thing to do, it's going to be, who am I going to message today? Who am I going to reach out to as far as a new reach out, and who am I going to follow up with today? And ultimately, I'm just asking a simple question. Is now a better time for you to learn more? Or are you open to learning more? And my hopes with that, of course, the majority of people aren't going to message me back. That's why I'm going to follow up with them. But my goal with that is to get them to say, yes, I'm open to learning more. And then I walk them through the process of moving them through the funnel, giving them information, and seeing if becoming a consultant is a good fit for them. If it's not, then I'll ask them if they want to try our products. So if I could pick one thing, like, you have to be asking the question to people. If you're not asking the question, you're not making money, like, period.
Sure.
You're not having conversation about, do you want to learn more about what I do? Second to that, I do think that showing up on social media is an important part. It's not going to get you sales necessarily. It's not going to necessarily make you the money. The question is what's going to make you the money. But showing up on social media so people can know, like, and trust you. So the 10th time you message them, they're like, oh, okay, I actually trust you now because you've been showing up and now I know a little bit about you. And so just letting your social media be your brand, your storefront. You post about your personal life, you post about rotating fields, you post about the things that interest you, you provide value to people, you post things that allow some interaction, people to comment. So those would be my 2 things. And in addition to that, I have to prepare for my week or I am absolutely worthless. Like, if I go into my week not knowing who I'm going to reach out to, I am worthless. And planning and scheduling when you are going to work your business in your day is essential, because we don't always feel like reaching out to 5 people. And it doesn't matter actually how many people you reach out to. Like, if you want to reach out to 1 person a day and that's your goal, by all means do it. I mean, the more people you talk to, the more people are going to respond. But if you don't schedule out this time, it will undoubtedly get pushed aside, even to the best of us. And you have to do the mundane things that aren't always fun to do. Do I feel motivated to do reach outs on a daily basis? Heck no. Never, actually, most of the time. But I know it's what I need to do to move the needle forward. So, yeah. Reach out, follow up, schedule my week, show up on social media.
That's it. Who wants to go next?
I'll go.
Woohoo!
Yay. I love waking up early and having some time to myself in the mornings, whether it's rhododendron fields related or not, getting things done in the morning so that I can then start my day when I have it, you know, when I'm scheduled to start my day or when I want to schedule starting my day. I have been doing this scorecard, so finding the things that are neutral or bad that I can cut out and or maybe give less time to those things, which opens up more time for better things. My best habit is waking up early and at least doing my penny reach outs. So Penny has been my lifesaver. And if I don't do anything else throughout the day, I have at least logged into Penny and made a few reach outs. I don't complete them every day. With the Penny challenge, I mean well to complete them and post a picture on the Penny challenge, but I'm always 3 or 4 short. They're the 3 or 4 people in my chain that I'm oh, I don't know what I want to say to them yet, so I'll put them off till later in the day. So I found that if I do the hard people first and get them out of the way, it's easier to finish.
I was just typing in the chat. It's like you have an aversion to finishing it. It's like if you finished it, it would be like, ah! That's too funny. Real quick before we go on, Brittany and Miranda are on here, and I don't think they've ever been on before. Tracy, you were here last week, yeah? That's what I thought. Anyway, you guys can say hi if you want to. I just want to, they're new. So, hi guys. Hi Brittany, nice to meet you. What we're doing tonight, if you hopped on late, is we are talking about what we actually do to make money, because I think that I know that we're all here to make money, and it is hard to make money when you're unclear on what exactly it is that you do to make money. And so some of the people that have been in a little bit longer, we're going around, they're sharing the things that they actually do every day. They're sharing something we call IPAs, which is income producing activity. And I've invited them to share maybe some things that they've done that are complete waste of time, maybe some things they're just not doing. But that's what we're doing first. And then towards the end of the call, we're going to wrap it up with the list and walk away with a list of what do we actually do. So, Julie, were you done? You got more? You're done? Who wants to go next?
I'll go. So I definitely need to plan out my week. Absolutely, 100%. If I'm a single mother and I feel like my kid has more of a life than I do with her activities now. We've got swim lessons, gymnastics, and dance. And I'm so I'm all over the place, and I definitely need to start planning out my week. I'm running all over the place. So yes, I need to do that. I need to listen to the advice you gave to one of my consultants about sitting down on Sundays and making a list. So I need to do that. And I absolutely do more reach outs. I'm very bad about that. I think I do a lot more follow-ups than reach outs. And so yeah, those are my two biggies.
I like that. Okay. Anything else? Anything you want to share on the other side?
As far as what things that I feel like I've wasted my time with?
Yeah.
Don't get hung up on groups. there's a lot of direct sale groups out there. Do not waste your time posting on those, or scrolling through social media and commenting on them. I'll be honest, I did in the beginning, thinking that, people go on these looking for things to buy, or, people post on these because they're selling direct. No, it's a waste, because if somebody comments and says, I'm looking for skincare, that person's going to get bombarded with 1,000 other skincare companies. Don't waste your time. You know what I mean? You're thinking, oh, they want skincare. They do, but I'm just telling you, I got caught into that trap. So don't.
Love that. That's a good tip.
Events. I've been pretty successful at events, yes and no, but be careful. I made the mistake on one of my events and bought a shit ton of product, thinking people might buy it on spot. And to this day, I still have some of that product, and we're talking a year and a half later. So yes, be careful about that. Yeah. Just because it was that big one, Sarah. I don't know if you remember. Really, I mean, it was a really big event. I mean, we're talking huge. So, I mean, actually, I just got rid of the last one, and I had to really go 50% off on these products. So just things I've learned in my 2 years. Just be careful about stuff like that. Events, can be good, but they can also not be good. Trisha did warn me, to be careful about stuff like that. And events are usually all about the follow-ups. Absolutely. I've gotten PCs that day at the event, but you definitely have to follow up 100%. That's probably my best advice on stuff that I've learned in my 2 years.
I like that tip on events. I'll touch on that on the end when I wrap it up. Events are good, but you better be purposeful. All right, Natasha.
Can you hear me?
I think so.
Okay. Just to go. So I do all of typically so I is
No.
it not
In and out again.
1 minute?
I really want to hear what you have to say too.
Okay. I turned off my hot thing myself. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So I like do all of my work at nighttime, and I don't know, probably not like the right answer. It's probably not the way that I want people to do it, but I tend to do all of the reach outs later in the month. I'm trying to work into doing them more. I spend a lot of time the first half of the month talking to all my customers, and I can say that I have so many customers that when there are sales and things, it takes time to recover. So a lot of times, I spend a lot of time with my current customers, and then the second half of the month, and a whole lot more new reach out rated in there because everything's already run and things. But I have days, for example, Sunday, Monday. For me, I do most of my reach outs, 20 in a day, and the whole rest of the week is kind of following up because I'll send out 60 messages in 3 days, but then the week conversations and things. Some things that I've been
You're going in and out, girl.
Yep. Yeah.
Try turning your video off and letting it just pick up your audio, because we could hear you really well then.
Can you hear me now?
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. Now you're looking at 28-year-old Tasha. That's an old picture there.
Well, I would like to say that you look the same.
Thank you. I will say in the beginning, I spent a lot of time in word swag. I wasted so much time in swag, but I can tell you it felt wasted way back then, but now I can make a graphic in a jiffy. I have no problem. Oh, let me put that together. So I think sometimes are a waste of time, or they seem like it in the moment, but like later, like it pays off that you've, to figure things out. Or maybe wasted a lot of beginning reading ingredients and reading all about the products when I could have been doing reach outs. But I know all the ingredients now. But my business was really slow in the beginning. Like I struggled. Like I placed an order on my Ghost account for like my first 4 months. Like I'm not a fast person. I also didn't listen to anything that Trisha said. I didn't want to host. Well, I didn't want to have an thing. There were a lot of things that I didn't do. So the reason why I struggled all made sense once I started listening. So if things don't seem to make sense to you when your leaders do it, they know more than you do. And then like business conversation, something I still struggle with. I get better at it, obviously, but I'm so good with the products. Like I naturally can talk about the products to people, and so switching bring things business side, like it's a really conscious effort. Like I have to plan to talk about that person, talked about the business to that person, and not just, kind of see what happens. So being like really conversations. And I try to post on Facebook every day. I'm trying to get better at story. Becca Parker is my inspiration for that. I'm always, man, you got some good stories all the time. And like, I struggle with them. But I'm trying to make those, because I'm realizing a lot of conversations that I'm having are as a result of stories. So I'll try thing that I'm yeah, basically, and being intentional to talk about and posting because I get a lot of people saying my sister-in-law does this, but she just does it for the discount, and you're actually like running your business and you're like doing things, and I want to support you. And so not that I've stolen people by their own choice, like yeah, actually I want to, because you're showing up for your business more. So people are watching. Yeah, got it.
That's a good list. Thank you.
You're welcome. Now I'll bring my face back.
So it sounds like to me, Natasha, that you could benefit from a daily list.
I
love what you do.
Trish, I don't know if you remember this, but do you remember a woman who made a chore chart on the daily?
Yeah, I sure have it. I actually made a chore chart of our own.
Yep, you made one for me, I remember. And then there was another woman on the daily who she made like a Monday through Friday list. Like she liked to do different things every day. And we'll get to that at the end. But I
think I made that. I made one of those too.
Yep. So I think what would be cool out of this is an album on the team page, most likely, with a few graphics that have ideas in it. So no matter who you are or how you like to work, if you like to vary it up, if you like to do all your reach outs on one day, you like to have follow-up Friday and sample Saturday, I don't care. Just have some sort of system. And I think that will probably be something that comes out of this, is that I will put multiple different ideas on there so that you can have some sort of daily list to go by.
So I think something else, I mean, this is me included. I think no matter what you have, so the chore chart, the Monday through Friday, what I want to focus on, you can have that. But if you don't follow it, which is your daily discipline, if you don't do it on a daily basis, you're going to look at it and be like, this isn't working. And it's not that it's not working. It's just that it's not being followed. And like the more off you get from it, the more off you feel.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it just comes down to, no matter the system you have in place, you just have to follow it. And it's just doing those daily things that are boring and nobody really feels like doing.
Absolutely. And it's
what I feel like.
It's never that the system doesn't, it's never that a decent system doesn't work. It's often that you don't work. And that stands true for many of us that have been around for long enough to watch your business go, woo, psh, woo, and I mean, it's every single time. It's the truth, and if it's not the truth, then maybe you're not being real truthful with yourself. So let's have a couple other people. Becca, Kayla, Rachel, Allison, if you guys want to share maybe some things that are the same, or if you have any other things to add into this list, because I think we're coming up with a pretty solid list. But I want to hear from you guys.
I think one thing for me in the beginning, and probably not just the beginning, but for a while, was I thought I needed to do every single training that there possibly was. Like, it was just one of those, you know, and there's a lot of great ones out there, and it's easy to get very overwhelmed, and, you know, listening to them all and just trying to absorb all of that information and knowledge, and, you know, just wanting to, I don't know, learn a new job, basically. That's what it is. Learn something you know nothing about, especially from people that have been doing it a while. It's easy to, I don't know another way to say this, like, waste a lot of time in trainings that you don't need it, you know, instead of like doing your income producing activity, sitting here like training. And you know, I think it's good to pick something, but don't feel like you have to listen to every single thing, or you know, make a kind of like I have like a book list, Sarah, and of course you have one on the Sparkle page, but like, you know, maybe kind of make a list of some of the ones, keep it somewhere that you want to do, or that your, you know, your sponsor, Sarah, Trisha, Natasha, whoever it is, has, you know, told you this would be a very good one. Like, if you listen to nothing else, listen to this one.
I think
I kind of bogged down and overwhelmed with that for a while.
Yeah. I used to say when I was doing RF 101 that what I was saying was important. And I don't know how many of you guys were around for this and remember it, but what I was saying was important. But in fact, listening to me is going to make you no money. None. I mean, you have to go and do it. And in the beginning, and these new gals here, they can probably attest to it right now. In the beginning, you are taking in a lot of information, and it is important because you do have, I mean, any job, you've got to figure out what the heck you're doing. So you're going to take in a lot. But if you're taking in something and not executing, my rule is just one thing from whatever you listen to, just one thing. If you're not executing at least one thing from what you just took in, why are you listening to it?
Right.
But also know that you can't take in all the things when you're new. You're not expected to know all the things yet. So that's when you just reach up if there's a question. Like, don't let that hold you back from doing the work when you're new, because you don't know it all yet.
Yeah. Yep. Becca, do you have anything else?
Don't let like lack of product knowledge keep you, or knowledge about the business, keep you from talking to people about it.
Yeah.
Because like, that's one thing I probably learned is like, don't let it stop you from talking to people, because you don't have to know everything. That's not attractive to anybody that you're talking to. Like, I mean, still this day, I'll be like, let me look at it real fast. You know, like, hello, they want to know something about the product? Like, just go on your website. The Ready to Field gives the description of everything.
Right there.
Like, I mean, just for instance, and then the three-way calls and that third-party validation is so important. But and a lot of what other people have said is true. Using Penny is incredible. I love that. I think that's a brilliant app that is very helpful in our business.
Sure is.
Yep.
Kayla, Rachel, Allison, you guys got anything? Am I missing anybody? I don't know. There's a big screen tonight.
Mine has pretty much been covered. Penny has been huge. I did the same thing Becca did with so many trainings in the beginning that it paralyzed me to the point where I didn't know what to do with all the information. And I would try to take notes and organize and have this plan, but could never actually do anything with all the information.
Yeah.
I think that these types of trainings have been much more beneficial because it multitasks. So we can get the training, but we also get all the connection and the networking and the building relationships that you need to be able to be successful and feel comfortable to ask your team when you don't know.
Yeah, that's huge. That's a big deal.
I have something.
Oh, yes. Hey, Brooke.
Hey.
Hi.
You don't want to see my face right now.
How are you, Brooke?
Don't be afraid to ask for referrals. Like if your friend's like, oh no, like no thanks. Don't be afraid to ask if they think someone else might be interested. Or if you have a PC, ask them to host a virtual event for you. Especially with COVID right now, virtual events are huge. And it's a completely free event. You're just hosting it for your friend and you might get some PCs out of it. And if you don't get PCs, you have new connections.
I love that.
And I've learned that recently. I've been doing quite a few virtual events, and even if I don't get a PC out of it, I'm making those connections and I'm keeping the follow-ups with them.
Yeah. That's so good. Making those connections is huge. That's something that's on my list that I wrote down. Because if you're not making new connections, your list is dying. Anybody else?
I would just reiterate what Tanya said about events. There was a little bit there where I think on Team Hustle and Heart, I was like the event queen. I had like an event, at least 2 every month, like live, like in-person events. And so, and it didn't really do a ton. I think I had 1 really successful live event. And other than that, it was like crickets. So just be very selective if you're going to do them. Look at, is there going to be foot traffic? I know like most of mine were in a small town. So it's like, what else is going on in your town? Like, is there a bigger event that's going to take all of your foot traffic? Cause that's what happened to me on like 3 or 4 different ones.
Yeah.
And then, I kind of had this realization yesterday. I did an in-home demo with, one of Derek's Army buddies and sign a new PC. But what got him really excited apparently was that like he saw how excited we were about it, and it made me realize like I haven't done a live on Facebook in I haven't done a lot of things on Facebook in a really long time. Like my presence on Facebook is not what it used to be, but I think lives can be underutilized sometimes because people are afraid, and I've had a couple people tell me that when I do actually do a live, like that they're full of so much energy and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I just kind of accept before I hit the go live button that I'm probably going to fumble across my words and I may look like an idiot, and I just like completely accept it and own it and run with it. Because guess what? I'm a real person. So I don't want it to sound rehearsed, because it's like, it's me. I'm not regurgitating something that like a billion other people are doing, live for their team. Like it's me talking to my people, and it needs to sound like me. So if I stumble and fumble across my words, that's completely okay. But yeah, so that was kind of something that I realized last night, but
yeah, I think that's true. And I think you're right. Your presence has changed with all of your changes over the past few months. And I think that especially you and your energy and how fun you are, I think that your people would be like, Rachel's back. I think they'd be really excited to see you. So that's a really good point. And it's something that, you guys have heard me talk about it. I'm super comfortable doing videos in my stories, and I'll do lives in my customer group, but dang it if I don't have to get better about showing my face on my regular page. I really do. I mean, we're not, like you said, we're not like paid influencers. We're not, I mean, I guess we are, but we're not supposed to be perfect. It's not supposed to be that way. What a massive turnoff to everybody else that may want to do this, because when people are watching us in social media, they're wondering, do I like her? Do I trust her? Can I do this? And so if we're perfect, if we know it all, like any of that stuff, what a huge turnoff to everybody else, because they could never be like that. Like, gosh, me neither. I could never be like that. And so it really, an encouragement to all of us to show up a little better that way. So for Natasha, you're killing it. Where'd she go? Is she gone? No, you're right there. Good. Everybody shifted on me. You just keep doing it. So did anybody else have anything? I'm gonna pack up this list. If not,
I have one question for Natasha or whoever. One thing I'm trying to get better at is Instagram. I don't know how to work it, so I'm trying. But because it will post then on all of your pages, Facebook, Twitter, whatever you want. But where do you like learn it other than just doing it? Because I'm not gonna go sit and watch hours of YouTube videos to learn it. But that and stories. I can't make a story to save my life.
I learned it from watching other people so I follow.
I see fabulous stories, but I'm like, how in the world did they do that?
All you do is you see a story that you like. All you do is you hold your finger down on it until their name is gone at the top left, and then you screenshot it. And then you can change it up however you want to that way. You can just repost it as is, or you can put a sticker on it, or you can anything. And for a video, you can just find the filter that you like, or no filter, or whatever you want to do, and just do a video in there. Use the hands-free button and set it up somewhere and do your browse. Do something. Tell them what you have for dinner, for goodness sake. Who cares?
There was also a class this past year at convention in Nashville. They actually had an Instagram class, or Natasha and I were in that. It was Instagram and Pinterest, and that was pretty neat too. Which I would assume, would that be on our virtual?
Yeah, so actually, Julie, what you should do is, and anybody else that's wanting to know this, you should go to virtual.rodanafields.com, because it's awesome and we pay for all of that every month, so might as well go utilize it. You should type in Instagram, type in social media, type in something like that in the search bar, and you should be able to find all the trainings on it. I know Jody was able to find a training on Pinterest that way. Don't ask me about that, but I do know that all of the trainings that were given during convention last year are available on virtual, which for you newbies, if you're wondering, why should I have if you're coming to my house or you're planning on doing convention here with us and you're like, why should I have my own like convention pass? The answer is because if you don't have your own convention pass, then you won't be able to access the actual convention, you won't be able to access the convention material, and you want to be able to access that. So does that help, Julie? A little bit?
I have something. Off here, do the method. Yeah. Every time I see a story of somebody that I say, how did you get that arrow? How did you get that video there? Get that effect? And every time I ask that question, and then you can also Google things like how to post a video. Ooh, there was a YouTube thing it taught me. You can go live, or you can do it pre-recorded. All of mine are pre-recorded because I don't like holding that button. And you know what? They look the exact stories. No one knows that I recorded it on my phone versus going live on Instagram. But yeah, just if you see somebody's, just ask. Like, you only need to learn one thing. How'd you get that arrow? How did you get that blinky thing? How did you make it just text? Like, these are all questions. I knew nothing about stories 9 months ago. Started learning Instagram at convention. Taught me something sitting next to me. She was like, this is how you get that effect. And I was like, how did you do that? As I'm looking on her phone. So pay attention when we're at Sarah's house. Yep. On their, if you're going to be there, all things Instagram, you'd be like, what did you do with that? How did you get that? Just ask questions. Ask the people here. Like,
yeah. If you see something on any of ours, just ask. I definitely learned it from somebody else, I promise. And so I will totally pass it on to you.
So I have a question. So I learned today, I was watching a video, I think it was Trisha's video that Sarah had tagged me in. I guess it was like a year ago, maybe, I don't know. But I learned just because someone tells you no doesn't mean they're not interested. At first it was like, okay, they're not interested, I'm going to put them in the category of not interested. But after watching her video today, I really learned a lot, and it was a great video, by the way. So that changed my point of view on the no's. So when someone tells you no, how long is it before you guys like check back into them?
Mine is, I always do 3 months.
Mine is also 3 months.
And that's if
So like, what do you say when you check back into them because they've already said no?
So most of the time that I'm following up with people is people that have not responded to me the majority of the time. So that's a 3-month time frame. Like they read my message and they didn't respond. I'll send another message. Hey, I was thinking about you. I wanted to be sure to follow up and see if now is a better time. So if somebody says no, I'll say essentially the same thing. I'll say, hey, I was thinking about you. I wanted to be sure to check in and see. I know you weren't previously interested, but I know things changed for people. I wanted to check and see if now is a better time.
Okay, great. Thank you.
That's exactly what I say too. And I'll go anywhere between 3 and 5 months, just depending on who it is and how they said no and whatever. Somewhere between 3 and 5 months, I follow up and I say that I know things change. And it's okay because things do change. 6 months before I joined Rodan and Fields, if somebody had talked to me about something like this, I may not have been interested. But things change. Yep.
So I want to tell you guys 2 things about that. Hold on, I just lost one thing. It'll come back to me. Okay, 2 things. We live and breathe Rodan and Fields, essentially, right? So we're thinking about it all the time, but 3 months or even 1 month for that matter, I've heard a lot of people follow up in 1 month. The second that person reads your message, they are done thinking about you 30 seconds later. They are not thinking about you. And so if you were to follow up once a month, that's not even crazy. Like we think about it all the time and Rodan and Fields is always on our mind, but for them, it is not. Yeah. So don't feel bad about following up. Like I said, they stop thinking about you 30 seconds after they read that message. And then the second thing, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I don't want you to forget it.
The second thing that I really took with me recently is that the first time you get a no from somebody, that's the beginning of your relationship with that person. That's just the beginning. Like they said no. Yes, Poppy, hold on. They said no, and now you're going to continue to build with them, and you're going to follow up, and it's literally just the beginning. So take that kind of mindset going forward with it.
I don't know how many of you guys remember there's an old video. I think it's gone now on the Daily Experience, but it is The Power of No. That's it, right? The Power of No. That was what it's called. And it essentially the chick was talking about how she had asked her friend about it, and her friend had said no, or like it wasn't a happy exchange or whatever, and she was crushed. And then like she waited some time and talked about it again, and she brought it up, and her friend was like I was making a sandwich. Like she said, I think she asked her like, what did you do? What were you thinking? Something like that. And she's like, I don't know. I was making a sandwich. Like I ate my sandwich. They're not thinking about us at all. Like it really doesn't. And that's what, so I'll read you my list and it surrounds that. The things that are actually important to do every day are starting conversations. And that hits what she just said. When somebody says no, when somebody says not right now, like when somebody says anything like that, when somebody ghosts you, it's the beginning. So if you set your expectations where when you write somebody, don't expect them that they're going to be your customer that day. You are just supposed to write them. Like that's it. You're just supposed to reach out to them. And that's why we say a minimum of 5 a day. A minimum of 5 a day. Just do that. And yes, the word reach out, whatever. You're starting a conversation. And it is as simple as asking them if they're open to learning more about what we do. That's really it. I made a note down here. It wasn't on my list, but if you guys aren't leading with the business, you have to lead with the business. I think we tiptoe around that way too much. And there are a lot of people that have really huge PC base, and that's awesome. That's good money, guys. That's good money. But if you're here, and I'm going to put something in the team page that Sarah Robbins put somewhere, if you guys haven't seen it, the way to get from good money to great money is build a team. And you can't build a team if you're not asking people if they want to join you in business, if you're not asking people if they're open to looking at our business. You have to be asking that question. It's non-negotiable. Unless you're just here for shoe money. If you're just here for shoe money, do your thing, girl. Right? But if you really...
So how often should you ask the same person about joining the business?
I use the 3-month rule as well there. I really do. Yeah.
In those 3 months, definitely don't just like not reach out to them at all. I still hit them up, and Penny, like 2 weeks later, I'll schedule so that I can just reach out to them and just say, you know, something like, hey, I saw your kids are getting bigger, you know, awesome. Like, it doesn't have to be a Rodan and Fields reach out, but then in 3 months, I'm coming at you with Rodan and Fields again.
It's just...
Yeah, and that's kind of what I meant about, like, that's the beginning of it.
Yeah.
You can't just reach out about Rodan and Fields every 3 months. You have to, like, build a relationship and stuff, you know?
Absolutely. The first time that you talk to somebody, the first time that you ask someone if they're open to looking at what we do, maybe it's a fit for them, that's just the beginning. Your conversation goes on forever. And for me, I use Penny every day. And so I use Penny for 2 things. One, customer care. That's a whole different conversation that we've already had before, and it's on YouTube if you want to go watch that. But Penny for customer care, because it's very important to take care of your customers, like they are your business. And then also, whenever people come back around, so maybe I reached out to them and they were like a hard no or a ghost or whatever. When their name comes back up, if I'm not in relationship with that person, I don't hit them with Rodan and Fields every time. Maybe it's not a good time to write them. Maybe I can tell by their Facebook or whatever's going on. I go to their page and I make sure that I'm in relationship. I'm commenting. I'm becoming a part, a supportive part, an encouraging part of what they're on social media for. Does that make sense? And I think that that's really important. Like, every time that you reach out to someone, it can't just be about Rodan and Fields, because, man, that's why people hate stuff. It's because there's this chick and she's chasing me and she has no taste, and it's driving me up the wall. And even if I did join Rodan and Fields, I'd never join her because she drives me nuts, or she only cares about this. She doesn't care about me. And that's a really important thing. So starting conversations, following up in conversations. If you want to use that rule of 5, the power of 5, it's no less than 5 a day. You should be starting no less than 5 conversations a day. You should be following up with no less than 5 people a day. Okay. And then, I mean, however your conversations are going, maybe your follow-ups are out of control, right? That's good. That's a good problem to have. The other thing that you should be doing non-negotiable every single day is posting. And I don't care if you think you're good at it. I don't care if you think that you're bad at it. If you think that you're bad at it, then there's a really great training on the YouTube channel that our coach, Sarah, gave, and it's on the branding matrix, and it could not get any more simple than that. But just like Trish said, posting doesn't make you any money. It might. Somebody might see your post and want to come buy what you have, and that's really cool, because that means that you shared the value or the benefit of that really well. So that person saw it and they really wanted to buy that. So good on you. But posting keeps your business open. Your post is your storefront. And you never want somebody to go, hey, are you still doing that thing? What? Right? You never, ever, ever want to hear that. And so you should posting at least once a day about Rodan and Fields, whether that's a product or how you're feeling about it or some impact that it's made or somebody else's story, whatever. Don't think that you're going to get on anybody's nerves, because, again, nobody's thinking about us. They're just not. It's your job to do this. And if you get on somebody's nerves, then they're not your person anyway. So that's fine. So posting every day. The other thing is making friends, because who said it before? Referrals, Brooke? Yeah. If your list So you join the business and you have a list. You join the business and you have like the people that you know. That's your list, right? If they're breathing and you know them, that's your list. And so you have these people, and we go through that. If you're working pretty fast and you're excited about it and everything, you go through that pretty quick. So you can't just stay inside of that one bucket. You have to continue to make friends, and however that may be right now, whatever life looks like for you, you have to keep meeting people. And so say maybe you're not involved in anything right now, or you're in a place where you physically can't be and virtually can't be, there's nothing available to you, then what Brooke said about virtual events is so stinking important. And it is as easy as saying, hey, I know you, like to our customers, hey, I know you really like these products. Would you be interested in earning some free product or credit for opening your friend list to me? They're going to be like, yes. And so then you get to meet other people. And whether or not that event goes well, whatever goes well means to you, right? Whether or not it goes well, then if you've done a good job in being purposeful inside of your event, then you've made new contacts and then you've grown your list. Does that make sense? So the other thing is, there's two more things. And the next to last thing is one training a day. Okay. And so what I mean by that is put one thing in your head that is growth. So for me on a weekly basis, I'm probably not a good example actually. Let me tone it down some. On Mondays, I always watch the Sunday night call. I have been hosting a watch party on the team page just in case anybody wants to watch it with me whenever I watch it. I've been having fun. Do that. Catch it if you can. But the Sunday night calls are non-negotiable. And then Jackie does a Wednesday night call, I think about once a month right now. And those are awesome too. So I wouldn't miss either one of those. And then the other days of the week, go to the daily experience page. Put in the search bar some topic you want to learn about. List, recruiting, networking, customers, whatever. Products. Oh my gosh, there's so many good product trainings on the daily.
There's a really good table of contents now too, so you can it's sorted by category.
Yes. And then again, virtual.rodanandfields.com, right? Input whatever it is, input something. A podcast that I know a ton of us like. We like Bob Heilig's Your Virtual Upline podcast. That's great. Or a book. Whatever you do, once a day. And if you're in the beginning of your business, you need to be feeding your head about either Rodan and Fields or network marketing. Because unless you're not new to this pony, this is new. And so you have to learn how to do that. But I really suggest no more than one thing a day. No more than one thing a day. I can't remember whether it was Tika or Miranda. One of you I told the other day, I'm never going to say this again. But today, I want you to go all in on training. It was Miranda because she was having her launch. So she already had her launch. She already had her invites out, right? She'd already done all her IPAs. And I was like, go all in and just train all day. Just soak it all up. And that's okay to have a day like that. But the thing that I wrote next to training is that no training until your IPA is done. You don't get to sit and do all the fun stuff. You don't get to sit and do all the stuff that doesn't make you any money but makes you feel real good. You don't get to do that until you've started conversations. That's the actual part that's going to make you money. Training is easy. That's fun. It's personal growth, and that's good. And then the last thing that I wrote on here is something that I think that we love to ignore, and it is, who are you talking to? And by who are you talking to, I mean on the phone. I really mean on the phone. I call my customers at least once a year on the phone, right? Most of the time it's twice a year, but I'm not perfect. Some of my customers, I always call them on the phone. It just depends on our relationship like that. But when I close business, for the most part, it's on a quick phone call of some sort. And so we can get really busy telling ourselves that we're busy and we're working in Messenger all day. Get it off Messenger as fast as you can. Get it off there where you can get it on the phone and actually close it. Where you can get somebody on the phone. So say we're talking about, the recruiting funnel. So they said that they're interested in learning more. You sent them a Mad Mimi. If you don't know what that is, you'll learn along the way, or you sent them a video or something like that. Well, there's nothing left to do after that except for talk to them. And so you need to be asking yourself every week, who am I talking to? Like, who am I actually going to talk to this week? Natasha, that makes me really glad. I saw that little button and I was like, why don't I do this? This sounds fun. I'm watching it. Maybe other people want to watch it too. So I'm going to keep doing it. So those are the things: starting conversations, following up, posting, making friends, training, taking care of your customers, or using Penny. If you don't know what Penny is, it's fine. You'll learn. It's not time for you to know what Penny is if you don't know what it is yet. And then getting on the phone. That was the list that I made. Now the notes that I made, and I'm going to try to wrap this up pretty quick because I know it's almost done. The notes that I made while you guys were talking of the other things that were very important, where you're like, what do you do ahead of time? What do you do to plan your pre-time? So planning who, planning when, and marking out, planning who, planning when, and then getting it done early, except for Natasha because she's a night owl. But you have to plan who and you have to plan when. And that means that if you happen to be a night owl too, then you already told yourself when, right? So you tell yourself who you're going to be reaching out to, and that's really important. And I will tell you that sometime before the end of the month, I'm going to be opening up everything is optional, but I'm going to be opening up a Saturday and Sunday time where we all hop on here and plan our week together, because Trish and I have been talking a lot, and it's something that I know, and she just said too, you either plan to fail or fail to plan. It's an old one, but it's a good one. And so I thought that since I'm sitting down planning my week every week, I might as well open up a Zoom. And for those of you that can or want to, we can do it together. And I do think that it's super important as you're thinking about who am I going to do this? Because most of us lead really busy lives. And the last thing we want to do is sit down to wherever our workstation looks like and be like, scroll. Who am I going to talk to? I'm working because I'm looking for who I'm going to talk to. No, you're not. That's not going to make you any bit. And then I made a big star beside how everybody was talking about showing up on social media, because that says whether your business is open or not. It really does. That's really huge. And then everybody had mentioned Penny as well. And so for those of you that have been in 2-3 months, then you know what Penny is. And if you haven't been and you don't know what Penny is, your sponsor will tell you soon enough. Tips that I picked up while you guys were talking were get in and get out when it comes to social media. And the thing that will help you do that is planning before the week. Because if you plan before the week, then you're able to open your social media, get in, do your thing, get out. Don't let it suck up your time. And then events. I loved listening to you guys talk about events, because events are huge unless you're not purposeful about them. Then events just make you feel good. They make you feel like you're working because you're hosting an event, but you didn't actually do any of the work that is involved in an event. If you open, like, we'll take Facebook groups, like how we do the Facebook group events right now. You can open a Facebook group. You can have all the pretty graphics, all the great posts, all the everything. But if you didn't do any work inviting and exciting, your event's dead. I mean, it's a waste of time. So that was something that I loved hearing Rachel say too. It's the excitement. Enthusiasm goes so far. Do not play down your excitement over what you have and what you're doing, because I think it was Miranda I was telling the other day too. Nobody wants it. Jim Larson said it. Nobody wants to come to something that sucks. Nobody wants to join somebody that doesn't look like very much fun. And so make sure that you're sharing that, like all the way there. I think that's it. That's what I wrote down from what you guys said. I think that, would you all find it helpful if I made a team album that had a few little graphics that were just some ideas? Would that be helpful?
Yeah, if you could put the chore chart and the Monday through Friday thing that you were talking about in there.
Yeah. I'll say I'm not going to remake this. I'm just going to go dig it out of Facebook land where it already lives. I might update it if it needs it, but I'm going to go dig it out, and then I'm just going to pop it on our page. Trish, if you have it saved somewhere and you shoot it over to me, that'd be great. If you don't know where it is, I'll go find it.
I'd have to look for it too. I think I made one of them on Canva, so I should be able to pull that up, but I don't know where the Monday through Friday one is off the top.
Yeah, that's the one I can't think of. I remember it was on like, the background was like primary colors or something like that. But we'll go find it. I'm all about providing resources for you guys that'll make things easier, but just like we said at the beginning as well, you can have all the fancy systems you want. You can have all the pretty graphics that tell you exactly what to do. All of them, and none of it matters at all if you aren't executing it. Julie, did you put that Power of 5 screensaver on your phone when I sent it to you?
I didn't, and here's why. I just got Bella back tonight, and I don't know how to make my screensaver save to a new picture. I always have to have Bella do it. So.
Ask your teenager. This is something that I did for Julie. I'll put it in the event, in tonight's event page. I might even I guess I'll just put it in the album. Lindsay Stafford is the last one who did a training on daily activity, and I liked it. She had this graphic. It was called the Power of 5. And so I turned that graphic into a screensaver, because we all know that when you have a goal or you have a plan, you have something like that, and it's tucked away, you don't think about it. But if you have it and you see it every day, like on your phone screen where you have to get past it every time you want to do something, it will be right there in front of you, front and center, where you have to get past it every time you open your phone. So I think that might be helpful. I'll throw that in there too. Okay.